Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Camden Military Academy's YouTube live event tonight. You may be in a different time zone watching us, or you may be watching us from the States, but tonight we will be focusing on our international students. A little different than our previous YouTube live. We want to hear what the school is like from their perspective, why they chose Camden, and just talk a little bit about the differences between a domestic and an international student. Here at Camden, we have kids from all over the world. We have this year about 35 different states here of the U.S., and then also about 14 different countries. So we are quite a pot of diversity here on our campus. Tonight, we've got a group of guys joining us who represent the world, our own UN, and we have one alum who's a Camden military graduate, but is also back teacher now. And then we have 4 current international students. They represent the countries of Austria, China, Brazil, and, oh, help me out, Haydarov.
Azerbaijan.
There we go. So he's gonna keep talking and saying that country for me throughout the night. Before we go any further, I want to remind you that you can just simply watch the video, or you can interact with us live through any of our social media channels. You can use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Use the hashtag Camden Military right after your question, and we're scrubbing that social media. We'll find that question and get it posed to these gentlemen. So feel free to participate tonight. Now, we're going to start out just with some introductions, and I'm going to let these young men tell you their name and where they're from, and then offer you a greeting in their native language. So, Cadet Eckhardt, we will start with you first.
Hallo, mein Name ist Leo Eckhardt and I'm from Vienna, Austria. Willkommen bei dem Live-Event aus Camden Military Academy und viel Spaß beim Zuhören.
All right. Cadet Haydarov, how about you?
Hello, my name is Samet Haydarov. I'm from Azerbaijan, and bizim YouTube live stream'e hoş gelmişsiniz.
Good job. Villalobos.
Hi, I'm Rodrigo Villalobos. I'm from São Paulo, Brasil. Bem-vindo ao evento live e Camden Military Academy.
All right, and we'll go with Cadet Sun.
Hi, everybody. My name's Shan from Beijing, China. 欢迎大家收看 YouTube Live 视频，由康本尊校主持的。
All right. And then Captain Wong, I'm going to check with you later to make sure Sun's speaking the right words here. So you have to pay attention. But I do want to jump over and let Captain Wong introduce himself as well.
All right. My name is Warfare Wang Regional from China as well. And I graduated CMA at 2013 and went to Seattle for 4 years. Graduate with a degree in mathematics. Now I'm come back teaching in math for most senior.
All right. Thank you. Now, the way it will work tonight is I'm going to ask the students the questions, and we're going to hear their response in English. Of course, I will be asking the questions in English because that's my native language. And then if I feel like it's a very important question that's posed to us a good bit, I'm going to ask them to answer the question again in their native language. So just so you'll know, we'll have both English and native tongue tonight during the broadcast. So I want to start out with an easy question for the cadets. I want to know, how did you hear about Camden Military? And we'll start out with Cadet Eckhardt for that one.
I heard about Camden Military because I wanted to go to a military school, which sounds kind of unlikely for a 14-year-old at the time. But I Googled military school, and Camden Military was the first result. So.
All right. And how about Villalobos?
Well, I first heard from
Camden?
Camden Military.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I first heard it from my brother. He came here before me and graduated my freshman year, and that's how I come on now. I'm a junior.
All right. And Haydarov, how about yourself? How did you hear about Camden?
Well, my dad showed me the school and told me about it.
All right. So parents introduced the idea, huh? All right. And Cadet Sun, same thing, same question for you.
All right, sir. It was my grandpa. My grandpa was a military guy, and then like a day he showed me the paper. Y'all passed it out, and I was like, "Yeah, this place is pretty good. I want to come over here." And
all right,
actually, it was pretty good.
Good, good. And Captain Wong, I'm going to ask you the same question. How did you first hear about Camden Military?
Well, my mom just simply picked this school for some. She think military school is best for students, so yeah, she picked it, and I just joined it.
Okay, yeah. I actually remember Cadet Wong when he arrived on campus. He came to my office the first day and knew very little English at all. And I remember speaking with him, and he's just nodding his head a good bit. And I said, if you understand anything I'm saying, shake your head no. And he continued to nod yes. So I knew that we had an English problem at that point. So we do have an ESL program. And I just want to touch a little bit on our ESL program because we do get that question a good bit. Is there ESL support for students? I know that Cadet Sun participates in our ESL program. So Cadet Sun, would you mind telling them a little bit about how often you meet with ESL, both here on campus and the alternative that we have for you off campus?
All right, sir. For the ESL classes, we are attending that program for like 3 times a week. It's going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And each cadet depends on their language. They can choose the time period and the class period to come over here. So they're gonna skip like 1 or 2 classes each day the ESL teacher is gonna be here, and then give you some specifically like courses just designed for you. Like if you are not really strong, and they're gonna practice you with your verbal English and your vocab. And if you are pretty strong, probably it's gonna be something like writing or like TOEFL or SAT like subs.
All right. And did you talk about the evening courses? We transport students off campus 2 nights a week to local churches here in town, and they work with our international students as well. And they have parties and things at people's homes that they're invited to. We've had students before participate in those and cook their favorite native dish and that type of thing. So I think they really enjoy going to the ESL program. So in a nutshell, we have it from beginner's level all the way through advanced, and can meet whatever needs you may have with ESL. Now, Son, I'm going to ask you to repeat that in Chinese now, if you will. Just talk to me about ESL in Chinese.
好的，我们学校呢是有这种针对于外籍学生的英语课程，然后每周2、周4、周5，然后会有ES 老师从校外来这边专程上课，然后会给孩子们就是量身定做一些他们比较需要的课程，就是根据于他们的英语能力。如果英语不好的话，可能会多进行一些口语练习或者是词汇量的练习。如果英语较好一点呢，可能是写作方面，或者是进行练习一些托福或者是SAT 上的一些考试训练。
All right.
That's it.
Thank you. All right. Thanks. And now I want to move on to another question. And I want to know your first impressions of Camden when you saw the campus. Cadet Haderov, why don't you start with that?
Well, sir, I thought when I first saw the campus, I really started liking it, for my first day. It looked sort of big, but now that I think of it, it's probably not as big as it used to seem. But that being said, it's not in a bad way. I would much rather have it being smaller, since it's easier to get from one point to another.
Right. How about say that for me in Russian? I forgot to say that Cadet Haderov can speak 2 languages, so I want to hear that answer from him in Russian.
Когда я первый раз сюда пришел, мне показалось, что сама школа очень большая, но на самом деле она не такая большая, как кажется, но это не так уж плохо, потому что когда от одной части школы до другой добираешься, у тебя занимает максимум, может, 5 минут.
That sounds so cool. I just wish I understood anything. All right. And Cadet Haderov, how about you in Austrian? Share with us your views, your thoughts when you first viewed the campus.
Sure.
Yeah, Cadet Eckhardt. I'm sorry. Did I say hit her off? Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, sir.
Well, initially, I thought, just to get it off, I initially thought that the campus was significantly larger than it really was, but also not being a bad thing. I think I didn't really everything, including every one of my classrooms, which really is like a 2-minute walk away from where I live and sleep, seemed a hike away. Like I thought that I would get up and then take 30 minutes to find my class, and it would be a really long march to get there. And in reality, it was 2 minutes. And I'd come out my door, and 2 doors down, my best friend would sleep. So I don't know, it was just really nice because slowly everything seemed smaller and smaller, but not in an entrapping way, but rather in like an opening way.
I agree with Cadet Lieutenant Eckhardt. That was
good. All right, now, Eckhardt, I want you to repeat your answer for me in Austrian or German.
Yes, sir. Als ich zuerst hierher gekommen bin, hat das Schulgelände viel größer ausgeschaut, als es in Wahrheit war, was nicht unbedingt schlecht ist. Links und rechts von mir leben meine besten Freunde, und wenn ich in die Schule gehe, ist es eigentlich so, dass ich 1-2 Minuten zur nächsten Klasse gehe, aber als ich jünger war und als erstes hier war, habe ich mir geglaubt, dass ich 20-30 Minuten zu einer Klasse brauchen würde, weil alles so groß ausgeschaut hat, obwohl es das nicht wirklich war.
Good job. And I want to point out, Cadet Eckhardt was a little worried before we started because he doesn't like for Austria and Australia to get mixed up. But I think judging off his answers, then we know that he's not from Australia. All right. Now, Cadet Son, I'm going to ask you a little different question, but can you kind of compare what Camden is like compared to Beijing or China? What was the differences you experienced when you first saw campus?
I'm saying, like, geographically, like, the place I'm living is pretty cold, and Beijing obviously is smoggy. Like, the air conditioning is not good, but from here, South Carolina, sunshine is adequate, and air is pretty fresh. And then the winter is not that cold, and summer's a little bit hot, but it's like, you will get your skin looks more tan. And for like schools, school life right here is like more relaxing for me because of like school commonly in China, especially for the high school, like students will do a lot of schoolwork and they will get so many pressures on it. And here's school life is pretty chill.
All right. And Cadet Villalobos, can you tell me kind of what was your first impression of the campus, maybe compared to Sao Paulo?
My first impression of the campus was, wow, I don't think I've seen that much green before, living in the city, being a city boy. And I also thought it was pretty big in the beginning. I'll be honest, my first day I got lost and I took a circle around the pool like 3 times trying to find where my barracks was.
Now, not Cadet Wong, but Captain Wong, our teacher, I want to ask you a question. I haven't heard these cadets' views of the school. What's a piece of advice that maybe as an alum and now a teacher that you could give to a prospective international student watching this about coming to Camden? What's a good way to kind of what should their mindset be when they first arrive at Camden?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the school is no pressure for academically. As long as you keep yourself learning, you should be all right, because the teacher's there for help you to get a good grade. That's their job. So all you need to do is just do your work, then they give you a good grade.
All right. Absolutely. Good job. Do what you're supposed to, right?
Right.
So let's go over to Cadet Eckhardt. Actually, wait one moment, Eckhardt. We have a Twitter question. So we have somebody watching. It says, Sun mentioned TOEFL. What is done if you do poorly on it? Well, not everyone test well, number one. But I do want to make clear that you do not have to take TOEFL, SLEP, any testing at all for acceptance to Camden. So we don't require any testing. What we're going to do is look at your application. We're going to look at your academic records and maybe teacher recommendations. And that's how our decision is going to be made. As I mentioned, you do not have to speak any English initially. It's certainly beneficial if you can, but you don't have to. We'll work with you on that. Through both ESL as well as immersion. So TOEFL scores are really, for interest to Camden is not important. However, for college and university life, it would be. So we do have some TOEFL prep, but we recently have a student just last SAT offering that took the SAT instead of the TOEFL because he had scored poorly on the TOEFL and was able to score close to a 1200 on the SAT, first time taking it. So, I'm encouraging these young men to both take the SAT and ACT, but also the TOEFL, because sometimes, different people perform differently on different tests. Now, Eckhardt, I'm going to get back to you and ask you my question about culture shock. I guess a lot of people hear the word military academy, military school. They think war, battle, all of that. I know that you said you were interested in military school, but talk to me a little bit about how military is it? What makes Camden Military a military academy, really?
I think what makes it a military school, or a military academy rather, is mostly the uniforms and the fact that we march. Ranks. There's leadership, which is, I think, one of the best things about Camden as well, is that you kind of learn leadership by rising through these ranks. But, I mean, how do I say this? I'm trying to, my mind is thinking in German, sir. Well, I think that's kind of weird to me too, is my school that I went to in Austria was taught in English. And so I'd have German every other day. But my entire life, other than that, was primarily in German. So my roommate told me that when I wake up in the morning, I talk to him in German for the first 10, 15 minutes. So my brain really takes a while to kind of adjust itself. And this is after 4 years of being here. So I think that's definitely one of the things. And then I guess also on field trips, you kind of notice the way that people dress, and the food is really different, especially, but in a very good way.
Depends on what it is, right? Depends on the day, anyway.
Yeah.
Cadet Haderov, how about you, Cadet Haderov? Tell me a little bit about military life.
So I was going to elaborate on the culture shock. What I would really relate with Cadet Lieutenant Eckhardt, that I've also heard people tell me, or that people have told me, that when I wake up or in my sleep, I talk other languages. Well, they say gibberish, but I'm pretty sure it's either, it's either of the 2 or 3 languages I speak. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, the culture shock in general, I mean, people obviously ask you some questions that are where's your country? How what type of country is it? Is it, first world, third world? But it's nothing bad. It's just them being curious, which is obviously absolutely okay. But yeah, I'm pretty quite interested to tell people, about my country and educate them.
Yeah, he educated me, actually. Yeah, go ahead.
So to piggyback on what Cadet Haderov just said, I think that's one of the greatest parts about being international as well, is you have an opportunity to teach other cadets about other places in the world and kind of how that works.
That's kind of joyful, actually. Just people are like, oh, wow. No, I never knew that before, and you just inspired them.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it's a trade-off. You learn about American culture, but we're learning things as well. I remember when I first met Cadet Haderov, it was during the Olympics, I believe, and we had an athlete from Azerbaijan had just won a medal, and I was like, wow, where's that country? And then a week later, he's walking in my door. So it was kind of cool that I got to put, someone I saw on TV with a face here in my office, as well as his dad. But all right, I want to ask you about the application process. All right, raise your hand if you did an interview with me prior to enrollment. Yeah, Haderov, you did. Eckhardt did. All right. Villalobos knew all about it because of his brother. So the way the interview process works for international students, if you do an interview, you can do an interview and visit the campus, or we can do Skype interviews, phone interviews. We can get creative with that. But Cadet Haderov, tell us a little bit during the interview process when you were visiting. What's something that really stood out to you? I understand that it was maybe your parents' idea to come, but what was something that you saw that you liked or heard about that you may like? And tell us a little bit about that.
This might sound cliche, but the greenery, honestly, the fresh air. Because I live in the heart of the city back home, right? And there's uh, there's traffic, there's car horns blowing, and like it's all alive. But in here, it's just really calm. And one thing I really love about the school, about the state in general, is the sunrise and the sunsets. They're just absolutely like beautiful. Not even gonna lie, they're just like they just make me want to get up early in the morning. It's just they're just really really great.
Yeah, I'm a native South Carolinian, so I appreciate those sunsets too. I just wish they didn't have as much orange in it,
Actually,
all right.
That's what, yeah.
That's what you like, right? Yeah. All right, so we're going to go back to Cadet Sun for a moment. Cadet Sun, we get a question sometimes about homestay versus boarding. And of course, Camden Military is a boarding school. So can you talk to me a little bit about the boarding process? I know you probably have friends that have studied in the States with homestay. So what's your comparisons maybe that you can do between homestay and boarding, which is what we do here at Camden?
Oh, okay. So, like for homestays, I have a lot of friends like staying in US. So like they need to ride on a school bus for everything. Or like morning time. Like before I come to the school, I was a homestay student as well. And then basically, I guess like I was getting up same time as like I'm getting up here. Like we need to get up at 6 o'clock for every single cadet on campus, and for other schools, yeah, like when I was used to in Myrtle Beach, I gotta get up at 6 o'clock as well, basically, and you will waste like an hour going to the school and an hour coming back. But like in here, you got plenty of time to clean your rooms, enjoy breakfast, and then come back. We can do a little bit PTs, like physical training, or something like drilling, which is really cool. And then we can go to class like 9:30, and which is not in a rush. Like you don't need to worry about anything. And like homestays, I guess it's a little bit hurry, and you'll ruin your school life for sometimes because like once you got in traffic or something like that, you'll be late and you'll get yelled by your teacher. So
Yeah.
if it's me, I suggest to be in the like boarding schools. It would be like more comfortable.
Good. All right. Cadet Hidarov, you had something to add?
Sure. I was just gonna say, just clear up something about the rifles and the drilling. I'm just gonna answer a lot of my friends' questions. The questions that my friends ask. They ask if we actually get to shoot the rifles. Like the actual military. Going back to that question. Unfortunately, no, we don't. But you can join the rifle team and have a similar experience to shooting if you'd like. But just to get that out of the way, we don't actually shoot our rifles. We just use it for ceremonial and parade purposes.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to make sure that we don't, go on. I want to make sure, especially the international families, understand that we're not going to be training a soldier. That's the best terminology I can think of. What we focus on is organization, time management, self-discipline, structure. Just good core values. So it's not so much about going and fighting a war as it is about making yourself a better man. So that's our main focus. Now I've got a question from Twitter again. It says, how often do you get to go home to visit? That's a good question. I'm sure a lot of people kind of thought that initially too. Will I ever see my parents again? So Cadet Villalobos, can you tell us how often do you get to go home?
I get to go home twice a year, one during the Christmas break and once during the summer break. But in between those breaks, there are fall break, spring break, and a couple furloughs like Easter furlough, President's Day furlough, and so forth. So during those furloughs and those breaks, like spring break and fall break especially, the school is very kind to us, and they take us to a beach house in Myrtle Beach. It's a beach down a couple of hours down from South Carolina. So it's actually pretty interesting. We have a lot of fun there, and we go there with 2 chaperones, and they kind of just let us have fun. They really just ask us, what do you want to do? You want to go to the movies? You want to go to the mall? You want to go out to eat? They literally just let us have some fun. But of course, they are there for us, and if we need anything, like they can cook food for us or anything. But we mostly
I apologize.
cook ourselves.
You sure? But I was gonna say, that yeah, it really reminds me of a feeling just like back home. I'm not obviously I'm not saying that they replaced my parents, but I'm just saying that they they basically it's basically you feel like you're home. It's weird, but it does feel like you're home. They ask you like, what do you want to do? Like Cadet EXO Villalobos said. But yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to emphasize is there's 2 breaks that we close for every year when students actually have to go home or at least find somewhere else to stay, and that would be at Christmas and summer break. So our Christmas break's about 3.5 weeks to 4 weeks long for our international students, and then the summer break, of course, is 3 months long. So you go home during that time, but the rest of the time over Thanksgiving and spring break, fall break, we have activities planned here for them. And we just got over our holiday cruise from Thanksgiving, and we went on a Caribbean cruise, and I think most of the guys like that. Yeah, let's talk about the cruise for a second. What was the highlight of the cruise, the best part of the cruise for you, Cadet Sun?
For me, first of all, I'm saying like cruises food is pretty good. Actually, it's not pretty good, it's awesome. Like for like breakfast and lunch, you go buffet, which is on the top of the floor, and then like for dinner time, you go to like you go order food like you're in a restaurant, and then like we're gonna dock on 2 places. For this time, we dock on a private island, and the other one is the Bahamas, capital Nassau, and then we go offshore and having some fun on the islands, and then come back in here. Yeah.
There's some fun times to be had, and again, you know, they're chaperone, and that trip is included in the international student tuition. So there are no extra fees for any of the trips that we go on. Now we also have 11 or 12 fun trips that we take throughout the year, where we go snow skiing, Disney World, different places like that. You guys have been on some of those trips. What would you say your favorite additional trip besides the cruise? We all love the cruise, but after that, what's your second favorite trip, Cadet Eckhardt?
I think definitely my favorite trip is the Washington, D.C. trip, because I'd only heard of Washington and seen it in some action movies until I went the first time in 8th grade. I got to see the Capitol building and the White House and all these great memorials, the statue of President Lincoln sitting there and the thing. And I don't know, it was almost like being in one of those movies, like obviously without Transformers running around and stuff, but it was kind of cool. It was almost like a dream come true without aspiring to see.
Cool. And one thing I want to mention too is that a lot of people don't know this, but South Carolina is actually the geographical midpoint between Miami, Florida, and New York, New York. So we're right in the, can get to both fairly easy. So DC is not that far from us. We utilize the airports at Charlotte, North Carolina, and Columbia, South Carolina. All the ground transportation would be included in the tuition as well. But I do want to remind all the viewers out there to continue to, post questions. Just use a hashtag Camden Military, and you can use Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of the social media handles, and we will get to as many of those as we can tonight. But I'm really enjoying the trip, so I want to now ask Cadet Villalobos, what was your favorite trip maybe that you've been on since you've been here at Camden?
My favorite trips have definitely been the DC trip as well, and the ski trip. There's 2 ski trips throughout the year, and they're because so many people want to go on them, they have to make 2. So, and they take us with charter buses. We go to West Virginia, or we go to Georgia.
West Virginia.
West Virginia. So we go to West Virginia, and we ski for 3 days. As soon as we get there, we're already allowed to start skiing because we leave early in the morning and we get there at lunch. And the second day we ski all day, which is really fun. You get to choose whether you want to ski or snowboard. And really, since I live in Brazil as well, it's a really hot country. There's no snow in Brazil at all. So it's actually a really fun experience to get to see snow.
Cool, very cool. All right, now, Captain Wong, I want to ask you a question from the teacher's point of view. Sometimes parents worry about, will my international student get all the support they need from the teachers there? Can you tell me a little bit about how the teachers are understanding of a student that's coming from a different culture, a different country, into Camden?
Yeah, all the teachers there understand you come from a different culture, the way you're learning and the way you understand are different than the regular American cadet. So they will try their best, find a way to make sure you're comfortable, that to help you study as much as they can. But they want you to do the best work you can as well. So they will help you, but as long as you show some effort and then let them understand you tried, and they will help you the best they can.
Awesome. Now, Captain Wang, can I put you on the spot and ask you to repeat that in Chinese?
所有的老师都会想方设法的帮助学生，但是同时也希望学生可以做到他们最好的方式，所以老师会帮助学生，但是也希望学生做到他们最好的那一步。
All right, awesome. And another question for you, Cadet Wang. Do you feel, or not Cadet Wang anymore, sorry, I went back in years. Captain Wang, the teacher. Do you feel like CMA adequately prepared you for college, for the Citadel? Did you feel like you had a good foundation? Go ahead.
Yes, when I was here, I do have a ESL as well, but we won't have once a week. It was a really nice teacher. He taught me the most way to reading and writing. Yeah, that prepared me for my first semester and second semester for my college English course. Also, as a regular bio class, that because a lot of vocab we never learn in China, especially those science terms. So I learned the most American and also in CMA. So Colonel Sampson was my bio teacher, and yeah, the way the Camden, those vocab lists helps a lot.
Good, good. All right, now I'm going to throw a question from Twitter out to the students again. How do you get everything to campus? I'm assuming they're talking about your supplies and things. We send you a packing list. And how did you guys get all that stuff here? We'll talk to Villalobos first.
One thing is, I know from flying from plane, obviously, knowing it's a military school, also as well, academics mostly, you have to think about what you are taking over. So really, you're not going to be wearing all the clothes that you want all the time. So you have to think wisely on what you want to take. And don't take any furniture with you, obviously, like maybe some lamps or some little fans. But the other stuff will be provided for you, kind of like a press, a wall locker, stuff to put your clothes in, a desk, chairs, and that stuff. Also, what else could I think of? And the uniforms, the stuff that we give you, you don't have to take them back home. So they can, if you're going to come back for the next year, you can keep them here in the storage room that we have in each company. And then when you come back, you just grab it and put it back in your room. So it's not that complicated for you to travel with all your things. It's just to think that you need to think about your packing list and also read the list that the school sends you on the stuff that is mandatory for you to bring to the school.
Good, good. Cadet Hedorov, go ahead.
Sure. So I would like to give a tip. It's really easy to overpack. You think, oh, I'm going to another country. I'm gonna need like this. Because when I first came here, people who were here my first year might probably recall how I came here with like 5 suitcases full of stuff, right? And honestly, the first time I went home, I took like four of those suitcases back home because I didn't need it. It's really easy. I can't stress that enough. It's really easy to overpack. You don't need a lot of things. Maybe like 3 Vans shirts and just 3 of each item. And it's really easy to overpack, as I said. But yeah, just don't bring a lot of things. Bring like as few things as you can, because it's going to be easier for you at the end of the day when you go back to get your, as we like to call them, civilian clothing back.
Yes, and I was emailing a new Chinese student who will be starting in January of 18, and his parent today, and the dad was asking, does he need a winter coat? Does he need to bring thermal undershirts and things. No, we provide a winter coat. We provide all the necessities within the uniform issue. So you don't really need very many civilian clothing or very much civilian clothing, but we will provide you with a mandatory packing list of items that are required that you have, and then also a list of optional items that you can bring. But Cadet Son, did you have something you wanted to add? I saw you.
Yes, sir. So like each parents is gonna receive a parent's handbook, which is white cover one, before your kids coming over here, and then there's a list and like something you must prepare and something you do not. If you didn't get all of them down, like when you're in your home country, it doesn't matter because we have the quartermaster, which is supply room right here. We'll get everything short you need. If we do not, for international students, have the Walmart trip, which is randomly in a week. So like if you need some food or drinks or something like you need during your school lifetime, Mr. Casey Robson himself or Marshall is going to take the students down to the Walmart and get all they need.
Yes, so that was going to be a question I have about necessities and things like that. So yes, we will go to Walmart or different stores, and again, myself, Marshall Shehorn, somebody here in the administration or faculty, is always available to take these guys out to get what they need or want. Sometimes it's as much as or as easy as, hey, I want to go have McDonald's, please. So we'll go do that. Other times they really need something from the store, just toiletries, things like that we can go and provide the transportation. But we do have buses and vans and things like that we transport the kids in. So, but anyway, it's a small family type environment here. We look out for each other, try to help each other, take care of each other. And again, I kind of have a special place for my international students because, I do probably work with them more closely on an everyday basis. Sometimes during tutorials, I want to run and hide under a desk because I know that I'm gonna have a line standing outside my office. I want. But I don't do that. I'm there. We get it done. If they need to order things online, they can use my credit card. We'll get it out of their account. So we do work with the internationals and kind of go above and beyond with them. Before we go any further, I want to talk about. Thanks. So before I go any further, though, I want to. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you for that. Like anything we need, we just go to Casey. It's just you're like a really big part of like Camden life for international kids.
Yeah, I'm the American dad.
We like to jokingly. Yes, sir. I was gonna say we like to jokingly refer to you as the international TAC officer.
Oh yeah,
I've heard that before too.
You're the number one. You're our actual TAC officer.
Yes, correct. All right. Well, I get the questions sometimes about I-20s and that process. How do I get into the U.S.? At Camden, we will work with you guys. We will get the academic records, the application, copy of passport, financial statements, and then once we are completed with all of that and done the interview, we will issue the I-20. One thing here we do at Camden that we put a lot of importance on is getting that I-20 out quickly because we know that's very important. So we guarantee you to have that I-20 out within 48 hours of completion of the interview. So we want you to go ahead and get that visa appointment lined up, and so that we can get you over to the States and make sure we have all the documentation in place. Make sure that you keep in mind that we will take care of expediting everything to your home address. If you work with an agent, we have some of our international students that work with educational agents. We still send that information to the actual parent or student's home address because we want to have that relationship with them as well as the agent. So, we will always be able to stay in touch. Which kind of leads me to another question, guys. How often do you get to talk to parents or friends back home? And let's talk to Cadet Son about that.
Basically, talking to your parents or your friends is not a big deal, but as a new cadet, your phone's going to be taken away for 2 weeks, like after you got here on the campus. And if you're a returning cadet, you will get your phone taken for like 1 week only. And like during that period of time, there's no touching with nobody else. after that, you get your phone back and you can contact with everybody, like mainly during free time. Understanding of the time zones differences, your tech officer may allow you to contact your parents during some time sales, but you gotta ask for permission to do it.
Okay. And we do allow you to have electronics here, just so our viewers will realize that. So, you know, they can stay in WeChat, or they can stay in, you know, some of the other social media sites as well, so that they're able to kind of stay in contact with home. But, you know, I do offer up my office quite often for Skype, for international students, things like that, if they lose their phones for whatever reason. But I want you to answer that question for me in Chinese, if you will. Just how often do you get to speak with your friends at home and the electronics?
对呀，是这样的，就是说开学的头2周，如果你是个新生的话，开学头2周你的手机将会被上交。如果是老生的呢，入学之后要上交手机1周，这段时间不允许有任何的外界接触。然后等手机返还之后，可以跟你的朋友或者家长在free time 的时候聊天，就是自由活动的时候聊天。如果因为时区的关系，假如说中国是12个小时到13个小时，我们这边tech officer 一般是会给一个允许的。另外呢，就是说基本上你有手机，想什么时候聊都可以。对，然后就是看自己个人情况，有的家长可能说1周1次视频一下就好了，然后有家长可能说我1天或2天就要视频一下自己的孩子，都是可以，没有任何问题。
All right. All right, Cadet Haderov, I'm going to let you speak in your native language and answer that same question about staying in touch with home, mom and dad, homesickness. Kind of talk to them a little bit about that in your native language.
You want me to say it in English first, sir?
Sure. Say it in English first, and then we'll go into.
All right. So, your phone. International students that have trouble with English are allowed to have their phones in class, but are only allowed to use it for dictionaries and stuff like that. But staying in touch with my friends or parents is quite hard, honestly. The only actual time where I can have like an actual conversation that lasts like a half an hour at least with my family and friends is during the weekend. But because of the time zone, the time difference is like 9 hours. So by the time it gets to free time, my friends and family are already sleeping, most probably. So yeah, the only reason you'll have to try to get your tactical officer to like you more if you want to use your phone, you know, during like before formation or during the morning, because our mornings are pretty busy. But yeah, that's a whole another subject. And now in Russian. Телефон, как бы, говорить с друзьями и семьей, это как бы можно, но просто дело в том, что они не пускают здесь, они здесь телефон не пускают. Поэтому, особенно если разница в временных поясах, у нас нельзя это самое делать, как его. Если разница в временных поясах есть, то тогда надо говорить во время, не знаю, когда мы, например, утром можно говорить или до обеда, но когда уже бывает свободное время у нас, где-то в 3 часа, например, у меня дома уже бывает 2 часа ночи или утра, поэтому не очень получается говорить. Ну да, короче.
Alrighty, I guess that's my turn. All right, so one more question for Captain Wong. We're running out of time, so if you have any last questions, please go ahead and submit them, hashtag Camden Military, and we'll try to get to it before we sign off. But if not, please feel free to email us tonight, admissions@camdenmilitary.com, and I'll certainly respond back to those just as quickly as possible. But Captain Wong, before we go, you're back home. I mean, you came back to the school that you attended, and you're now giving back to these international students. Why did you choose to do that? Why did you want to come back to Camden and give back to the school?
Well, first starting with go helping Colonel Brolin asked me, can I come back teaching math? because school short a math teacher. I said, sure. Then I just think about by myself to come back Camden. It's a pretty good place. It's showing cadet here what they truly need for college. And also I can help any international student when they have like really big problem with academically. I think I know more. So I know more Chinese than regular teacher at CMA. So I think I help them much.
Exactly, you do a lot. And also, let's talk the last question, guys, that I'm going to make you answer. Don't worry about speaking in English. We're going to do this all in native language, okay? The question is, what's the best part about CMA? All right, and we're going to start with Cadet Eckhardt.
Alright, so ich glaube, das Allerbeste daran, auf diese Militärschule hier zu gehen, ist, dass wir in Kompanien wohnen. Das bedeutet, wir haben 5 Gebäude, also eigentlich 4 Gebäude, also 2 Kompanien wohnen in einem Gebäude gemeinsam. Und was das bedeutet, ist dadurch, dass wir alle in diesem gleichen Gebäude wohnen, habe ich meine besten Freunde zum Beispiel links und rechts von mir. Ich gehe 2 Türen weiter, ich gehe 5 Schritte weiter und klopfe auf eine Tür und die Tür wird aufgemacht von meinem besten Freund. Wenn ich irgendein Videospiel spielen will oder wenn ich rausgehen will und ein Frisbee werfen will, ich will ein paar Schritte gehen, auf eine Tür klopfen und schon habe ich jemanden, der mitspielen will. Zu Hause war es immer so, dass ich mir gewünscht habe, dass meine Freunde mehr in der Nachbarschaft wohnen würden oder eher in der Nähe. Und hier ist es einfach so, dass das schon automatisch so ist. Und am Anfang versteht man sich nicht unbedingt am besten mit jedem, aber mit der Zeit wird es einfach super und das ist schon eines der besten Sachen an dieser Schule.
All right. Now, Cadet Sun, how about you? What's the best part of CMA or the thing that you've learned that means the most to you in Chinese?
我认为是这所学校最好的一点在于，它的就是这个有军衔，然后这样会培养咱们的就是大学入学很重视的一个领导能力，咱们所说的 leadership。可能我这样的说法很功利，但是的确是这样。然后他会培养一些这个学生的责任心以及时间观念，就是这种军人所具备的这种良好的素质。这里说军校不是说为了训练军人，只是说为了培养学生一个良好的习惯。然后我觉得这种习惯还有会影响以后，然后会对我们有非常好的一个作用吧，算是。
All right. Cadet Hitteroff, let's hear from you.
All right, sir. 100% самая хорошая часть или все, что самое хорошее в этой школе, это то, что она дает человеку дисциплину. До этой школы я был ужасно неорганизованным. Всегда как бы отвлекался в классе по разным причинам. Здесь как бы не дают возможность отвлекаться в классе. Но из-за того, что здесь как бы больше уклон на военную часть, так как и на академическую часть, здесь больше нравится, мне здесь больше нравится, чем в обычной школе. Что еще? Больше всего мне нравится рассказывать друзьям и семье про эту школу, потому что они думают, что это я в каком-то аду или что-то в этом роде. Но на самом деле здесь не так плохо. Эта школа мне дала очень много разных качеств хороших, в том числе и плохих, но в основном хороших. Поэтому я очень благодарен этой школе и моим родителям.
All right, thank you. And lastly, Villalobos, tell us a little bit the best part of Camden or something you learned that's really valuable here.
Bom, a melhor parte de Camden seria que as coisas que a gente aprende muito facilmente, honestamente, quando a gente vive aqui. Eu tô aqui faz 4 anos já e aprendo uma coisa quase todo dia, especialmente eu tenho um colega de quarto que é chinês e ele era meu primeiro colega de quarto e no começo ele não falava nada de inglês e agora no 4º ano eu falo com ele completamente normal, como se fosse qualquer outra pessoa americana. E, seriamente, eu sou muito surpreso como que ele aprendeu tão rapidamente e também a facilidade de fazer amizades aqui, não importa de onde que você é, É muito fácil ter amigos aqui que realmente duram pelo resto da sua vida. Tem pessoas que já saíram dessa escola que eu ainda continuo conversando com eles. E realmente esse lugar abre muitas oportunidades para você, sendo de outro país também, que talvez não tenha estudos tão bons, mas aqui com certeza seriam muito melhores. Abre muitas oportunidades, como eu já tenho oportunidade para entrar jogando futebol, jogar para os Estados Unidos.
All right. Thank you. Now, guys, because that was all in different language, you don't know what each other said, right? I don't have no clue what you said. So in 1 or 2 words, tell me what you said, just really briefly. Eckhardt, go first.
Said that I think one of the best things is having your best friends live 2 doors down from you.
All right. Good enough. Cadet Sun.
Saying the leadership, like ranking system, and like opinion of time, like make sure you be on there, be aware on time.
Good job. Hit her off.
I said that while discipline and leadership and stuff like that are a good part of the school, definitely the best part is talking to your friends and family about this place, because you know they don't think about this place what it really is.
All right. And Villalobos.
The thing I said is that honestly I learn about almost a new thing every day, knowing so many people, being so easy to make friends with everybody, really easy to fit in. And you talk to a lot of people. There's like 300 students in the school, and 60 of them at least live close to you. So it's really easy to make friends, and it's also really easy to get good opportunities, like getting scholarships for sports like soccer, football, or even academic scholarships to get into colleges here in the United States.
All right. Well, awesome, guys. I really thank you guys for speaking to us in both English and your native languages tonight. It's been really interesting. I will probably be dreaming in Russian, German, Portuguese, and Chinese tonight. So, but anyway, as a sign off, I want to remind everyone, please visit CamdenMilitary.com. We have a video gallery. In that video gallery, we have a number of the YouTube live events that we've done in the past, recorded and posted there. This YouTube live event will be posted there as well. So make sure you check it out again if you've joined us late or had to take off a little bit early. But I want to thank everyone for joining us, taking time out of your schedules tonight, especially Captain Wong. He's a newlywed. Congratulations on your new marriage. So thanks for spending some time with us. But guys, I'm going to count to 3. And on 3, I want you to tell everyone goodbye in your native language, and then we'll sign off. Okay? 1, 2, 3.
Linear Paca. All
right. Good night from Camden. Thank you.
Paca.